What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Talk Real Estate. I'm your host, Mark Cannon, local agent here in the Phoenix area with my home group real estate and owner of the Benchmark Real Estate team. So I'm in my new digs here in my brokerage's office because I can't do this at home because I'm too loud and we have a baby, so I can't do that. But this is a podcast format, guys, where I'm talking through stuff because I'm trying to be real. I'm not trying to edit what I'm saying and doing all this stuff. Just trying to be real with you guys. That's why it's called Real Talk Real Estate, because I'm trying to help people in their real estate journeys understand what's going on, because you need to understand that. That's my job as an agent, is to help people do that. So whether you're listening to this on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or watching on Spotify, YouTube, I appreciate it. Appreciate the comments, and always refer this to your friends. Let them listen. It's here to be a resource. I'm not viral or anything like that. So today we're going to be talking about Zillow, and we're going to be talking about, how people get agents through Zillow and is that reliable, stuff like that. So, and the reason I'm doing this is because I actually had some clients ask me about this. I actually had a client reach out to me a couple months ago. Hey, we're moving, out of state and need to find a realtor. And I actually ended up referring them a great realtor. So if you know a great realtor, get a referral from them. Like for me, I have connections in all 50 states of people who work like me, through relationships and, making sure we take care of our clients, working by referral. That's what I do. And so I can refer people to great agents in all 50 states because I know people all across the country because I go to events where I meet these great realtors. So if you know somebody, reach out because they might be able to refer you to somebody. But let's talk about Zillow. So Zillow as a whole, and listen, full disclosure, I was on, for the first 3 years of my career, I was on a Zillow team. So in major metros like Phoenix, Dallas, Atlanta, LA, they all have these programs where Zillow has teams that they partner with. So here in Phoenix, I think there used to be a lot more, but now there's 30 something, 33. I don't remember how many there are. They've dwindled down a little bit, but my team was pretty big. We had over 100 agents, over 150 agents. But it's one of those that for me, listen, I'm very thankful for the opportunity I had. This is the way I grew my business in my first 3 years. And I knew going into real estate, I wanted to work by referral, but I had to create a client base. So I did that for my first 3 years. And then I went off on my own to do bigger, better things. And, nothing negative to say about it. It was the time that I was in and I needed to be there to help build my business. So that's what I did. But just so you guys know, how it all works, you need to understand the motivations, how it works. And there's not a lot to it. It's not like we're going super deep into this. Okay. But it's one of those that I want you to understand how it works, because when you're reaching out to Zillow and you're trying to get an agent, whether you're clicking on something or calling Zillow, I used to take calls. You would call Zillow, you want to see a house, I would answer the phone, and then I would have to show up and try and earn you as a client, right? So it's one of those that people don't understand that there's a lot on the back end. So for instance, Zillow takes 40% of the commission up front. So let's say I got you as a client from Zillow and you chose to work with me, Zillow takes, we closed the deal, you bought a house, Zillow takes 40% of my commission. All right. And then the team takes another percentage, and it's usually a high percentage, 40, 50, 60%. So to where the realtors only end up making a third to a fourth of the commission. So when you do that, right, agents have to start doing a lot more deals to survive, because the average realtor does 4 or 5 deals a year, which means they make about, I think the median is $52,000 a year. So you have to understand, when you're already only making a third, a fourth, it's tough. So Zillow teams, typically you'll see a lot of newer agents go to Zillow teams. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that. Listen, I was a new agent and I learned through doing all that stuff. But when you're calling Zillow and trying to get an agent, you could get a good agent or you could get a bad agent. Someone that is very transactional and they're just trying to go through it. I was just talking to somebody in my church and they were telling me about their experience. And this is before, they didn't know me yet. They had bought, this is a while back, and they had gone through Zillow and they said, we really felt man, we met her and she was nice, but then, she wasn't advocating for us. She was just kind of yeah, let's just get this done. Yeah, let's just make this offer, right here. Yeah, that's great. And wasn't asking us questions, wasn't really taking an interest in us. And they go, we bought the house, never heard from her again. And they said it wasn't a good experience. We didn't feel like she was on our side. And as a realtor, my job as a fiduciary duty is to take care of my clients, to make sure that I'm doing everything I can. Now, my philosophy is different than a lot of realtors, because a lot of realtors are like car salesmen, where it's just turn and burn, go, 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 go. Because a lot of real estate is just, prospecting. And listen, I do it too. I'm prospecting with my clients, trying to get referrals, stuff like that. But for a lot of these people, there's a lot of people in the industry that go after internet leads. Zillow is the biggest one, where they get internet leads. Realtor.com does it. Homes.com does it. All these companies do it. There's lots of other companies. And so there's a lot of teams that chase that stuff. So people chase those and they're always just call. And it's not about client care, right? Like for me, I want to go above and beyond for my people. It's real estate through relationships. I want to make sure I'm taking care of my people so that way I go out of my way for them. So that way they'll refer everyone to me because I want to work by referral. And that's the way I work now, and I love it. And so the hard part with Zillow is like, you need to make sure if you are having to like call somebody, get somebody through Zillow, get a couple different people, interview them, interview agents, find out, are they good? Do they know what they're talking about? Do they know the new documents? Do they know how to be an advocate for you? What's their pitch to you? Like, do they know their value? Like for me, when I show up to a buyer, like I do a buyer consultation. The hard part with like Zillow is like you're showing up at the property. Here we go. Now you have to sign a document to be able to even get in the house because we have to. But it's one of those that, you should be interviewing people to understand their value. Like when I show up, like I was saying, I come with stuff. I'm like, here's resources for you. Here's stuff to show you. And I'm trying to show value through that. And there's other ways. And I've done videos on this before. But whenever you're looking through Zillow, I'm not going to tell you it's a bad thing. But if you know a realtor who can refer you, do that first. But if you don't, make sure you're interviewing people through Zillow because you don't know who you're going to get. Could be good, could be bad. And I feel like there's more and more realtors that are just transactional on there just because they're newer or they don't have a sustainable business that are in Zillow. There are people that do have great sustainable businesses in Zillow, but that is not the majority by far. So it's one of those that you need to make sure you know who you're working with, that you're getting someone who represents you well. So if you have questions about this, you're thinking about finding someone in another state or here in Phoenix, I'd love to talk with you. I'd love to interview with you because for me, I want to be able to show value and make sure that I represent you well, if that's what you want to do in hiring me. My information is right here. Reach out if you have questions. Would love to connect with you. Coffee, Zoom, whatever it is, in person. I would love to be able to do that. Guys, you've been listening to Real Talk Real Estate. I'll catch you next time.